Hi, I'm Lukas Czinger, co-founder of Czinger Vehicles and head of operations as well.
This is its first showing in the UK?
Yes, correct. So this is the first time the Czinger 21C, the car behind me, is introduced into the UK market. And we're excited to be here on Savile Row with this standout event.
So tell me about the car. It says on the placard over there that this is a 3D printed car. How does that work?
Yeah, so everything about this car is really different. And that's because we started as a technology company before we became a car company. So we produce the materials, the software to design the parts, the 3D printing hardware itself, and the assembly technology all in-house. And then we took a blank sheet of paper and constructed a vehicle architecture that we thought would outperform all the vehicles in the market today, and also showcase this new production system for other brands to see, and for that production system to eventually apply to all of automotive.
So you hadn't had experience in car building before, so you're a technology company. So have you sort of employed people that are familiar with, say, suspension setups and aerodynamics and stuff like that?
Exactly. So today we're about 200 engineers between both the companies. We've got 50 that are really vehicle system focused. And these are engineers that we're pulling from F1 race teams, so the top end of the non-homologated race car engineering scene, but also engineers that we're pulling from very well-known OEMs, so McLarens or BMWs or Ferraris of the world, as well as engineers that understand emissions and crash. So guys that have worked at IDIADA or Bosch and understand what it really takes to make a crash-worthy, high-quality, road-legal vehicle as well.
So the emphasis on quality. So this is a full, properly developed car. This is not just some boutique operation then.
Yeah, this is definitely not just a concept or a proof of concept or a roller. This exact car as it sits has the track records at Laguna Seca in Monterey, California, as well as Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And the Circuit of Americas record, we beat the previous record holder by over 6 seconds in one lap. So this
is that the Viper?
No, that was actually that was the McLaren P1. Yeah.
Oh, it makes sense because this has got some crazy power. It says on it 1233 brake horsepower.
No, it's got 1250 as the standard, and then we've got a upgrade package which takes 100 horsepower up to 1350 total horsepower, and we get that through a V8, which is 950 horsepower twin turbo under 3 liters. So it's actually the most power dense production engine in the world. And then we've got 2 EV motors in the front where we can get that additional 400 horsepower out of the system.
So it's an inline hybrid?
It's a strong hybrid, yes. So there's a third electric motor in the middle called an MGU, motor generator unit, which acts as the starter for the V8 and also ties these fronts to the V8. So we can have full 4-wheel drive, torque vectoring, etc. And we charge the batteries while we're driving, discharge the batteries while we're driving.
And the V8 itself, is that bespoke or is that inspired by, say, General Motors or something else?
No, that's our ground up design. So we went full clean sheet of paper for what we wanted the full head, the block, all of it to look like as part of this strong hybrid configuration. We created that design, we created the drawing for it, we outsourced the actual machining of the block, but now we're looking at actually applying our 3D printing technology and design technology for a 3D printed version of that engine in the future as well.
3D printed version of the engine, that's absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah, so what's the plan with that's a lot of time, investment, and energy that you spend on this, and you're building, this is a limited production car, right?
So this is 80 units, very limited, highest performance car in the world today, but it's really our brand building car. So in the future, we're already going to be showcasing our next models, and we plan to become a very enduring, American high performance vehicles company. And our technology company, which is doing the 3D printing processes, we expect that to sell into the larger automotive, aerospace, and defense sectors over time.
What sort of price are we looking at for something like this?
So this vehicle starts at $2 million. Optioned up, it's usually selling for about $2.5 million. And we've got a global dealer network. Here in the UK, HR Owen is our dealer.
Are you looking at the Middle East market as well?
Yes, we are currently establishing a Saudi Arabia dealer, and then we also are looking at the greater United Emirates and Dubai, etc.
What's the interest been like from that part of the world?
It's been quite high. Yeah, there's quite large car collectors in that region, as you probably know, and some of them have been very eager to let their preferred dealer know that they want a 21C in their garage, so there's a lot of pent-up demand.
And it's very dramatic. It's a real showstopper here at this event, which, to be fair, we're flanked by some beautiful cars here. But with these incredible doors, I mean, is it a very deliberate attempt to make this thing really stand out in the crowd?
It really is form follows function. So for us, it was very much so performance driven, but we also have a great in-house design team. And that 1+1 seating arrangement, that is a differentiator, and it allows you to design everything from the cockpit to the downforce to the rear wing to the doors differently. And certainly I think this car speaks for itself. There's a reason we have this crowd around us. It looks completely different even than the other hypercars that others would say are in its class. This one, if you put a car cover over it, put a car cover over all these other cars, you're going to know which one it is still.
And what inspired the tandem seating arrangement?
So it was really performance driven more than anything else. It was knowing frontal surface area for CFD, and with a very narrow frontal cockpit area, we can actually achieve much better slipstream and aerodynamics, and also use both the front fenders and the rear fenders much more efficiently. And then we wanted it not just to be an experience for one person, so we put the rear seat in as well. And when you're driving and you're on the road and it's the two of you and you're in line, it feels very much so like you're in a jet fighter or on a super bike. It's actually a very visceral, fun, exciting experience. And you have the greenhouse cabin, and you've got the shoulder room. So it really is also the ideal driver's position. If you're on the track, you're centered in the vehicle. Once you get back into a normal side-by-side seating arrangement, you almost feel off balance, because in the turns, now you're dead center. You don't really realize when you're driving your car, when you're taking a left hand versus a right hand, you're in a completely different architecture and position relative to the front wheels. Here you're dead center in between the front wheels.
It's awesome. I think you should do a Top Gun edition as well. So is this a prototype or is this an actual car?
So this is a pre-production spec vehicle. So it's not a production vehicle yet, but it's certainly not a prototype in the standard sense of a prototype. This is the final body of the vehicle, final systems of the vehicle, near final performance, although I'll say our production vehicle will actually be faster than the vehicle you see here today. But it really is a fully engineered car.
And what's the timescale for the 80 cars that you're lining up for this?
We will start production in Q4 of next year, so not far away. First deliveries will be into California and then into the rest of the market in 2024.
And the other cars that you're looking at, are they going to be of a similar level, or are you looking at something that's a bit more accessible?
We will always stay in that high performance niche, but we are coming into a bit higher volume and a bit more affordable on price point. So our next vehicle, which we will tease a concept of at Pebble Beach, you'll see is a more conventional seating layout and also about 10x the volume of what we have in the 21C.
Awesome. Thank you so much for bringing the car to London and for us to see it. Thank you so much for talking to me. Wonderful to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My pleasure.
A big shout out and thanks to Jay Williams over at Air Technic, who are top tier sponsors of Brown Car Guy. Check them out at Air Technic Co UK for exhausts, brakes, suspension and body kits. Plus our other major sponsor, Nayagen Solutions. Much appreciation also to tier 4 sponsors, Muhammad Ali Humaid, Tom Conway Gordon and Reza Adil. And of course all these other guys who supporting on Patreon. Brown Car Guy is eternally grateful. Hey, think about joining them over at patreon.com Brown Car Guy. If you can't, don't worry. Just make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel and website. Plus follow on social media by searching for Brown Car Guy.